Personnel and Finance Committee meeting is in order, call to order. First thing we have on the agenda is the minutes of August 17th, 2022. Which we have some questions about. Right. Move that forward. Next we have personnel updates. Administrator Dollar.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For human resource for the month of August as well as September, the summer program, the summer youth program ended. So therefore, as far as like the number of employees has decreased due to that. So therefore, we have a total of 66 employees as of right now.
Mhm.
We do have, well, the 2 new hires was last month, but we did have 2 resignations this month, correct? So as far as the open positions, they did interview for like the parking attendants because the parks are still open until the end of October.
Okay.
So therefore, as of right now, we have no parking attendants manning the parks. We had 2, and now we have none. So therefore, there's no one manning the parks as of right now. We do have an open position for a custodian because our custodian resigned, as well as the open positions for the police and PSO 3. We also have the community development, the 2 positions there, which is the grant manager as well as the program coordinator. And we also have the deputy city clerk position available.
Okay, one question. Well, this part, so what we doing for?
We still have the kiosks
Okay.
at Gene Clark Park. However, we have no attendants there, basically manning the park to give out tickets to make sure people are.
How long has it been?
We still have the kiosks, we enjoy that.
Okay.
The attendants are there, we're driving in, and the check for the people had already gone.
So we're not losing. Go ahead.
So you don't have to buy at the park in so there are nobody going around Chichester. Just cool. So and so is the so you go to yeah and you look at the car lights. They put the little notice out at the front.
Okay.
That was the only.
Y'all speak a little louder, I can't hear you.
Thank you for that. Very good.
That was it as far as the update for personnel.
So are we gonna try to fill?
It's still posted, as I stated, we did do interviews a couple of weeks ago. Out of those interviews, I guess they didn't hire anyone.
Okay.
I don't believe, because I was on vacation, so I was not in attendance of the interviews. But I know only one person was asked to basically do a background and drug screening for the new hire fiscal, and they never showed up for the drug screening, so.
Excuse me, what position was that?
The park attendant.
We have just one or do we have 2?
It's 5 open positions right now. As I stated, we did interviews. I'm not for sure how many people actually showed up for interviews because I was on vacation, but one person was asked to do a drug screen as well as background, but that person did not show up.
So we've gone over income tax already?
No, it's just,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
That completes personnel.
Do we have a question?
as I stated, I was not here, but Tamika Brock, who's over the parks, I know she was in attendance. I'm not for sure who else.
Thank you.
Continue.
Yes.
For the income tax, for the complete month of August, for individual returns, we received $2,419.10. We received for withholdings, $149,303.45. Total deposits, $156,367.55. We had a total of $4,284.80 in refunds, with a net profit of $4,645. To date in September, for individual returns, we have $3,958, withholdings $191,737.33, total deposits $195,695.33, and refunds of $540. Net profit is zero.
We got all the property taxes that came in and all that.
I'm not sure. I don't do property taxes.
Any questions, Commissioner Adams?
Thank you, Chairman Isom. Are any of the projects that were set forth, what, almost 5 years now? Seems like, 3 at least. Are any of those projects moving or with these tax dollars, or what's going on with the construction of any of these? Any been completed? Is it ongoing? Which is why it would be nice to have those meetings back in order,
Thank you, Commissioner.
because it really doesn't fall on you, sir, but I would like to know
Yes,
that.
Go ahead. We get Commissioner Adams update from that. What
You
projects you
should
talking about?
want
The
me to,
streets?
any and all that was set forth
With the roads?
by the advisory, by the Income Tax Advisory Committee.
Streets, local streets, alleys,
Yeah.
sidewalks, and emergencies.
But they were specifically zoned out, just like they're working on the water lines.
Right.
I mean, when will we get somebody to come forth to give us an update? Or are we just going along and just,
You're getting weekly updates on the water.
I know the water is besides what I'm talking about, City Manager Mitchell. That's funding that's coming from the state. I'm talking about the city
Income.
and employees' income tax dollars. Are they commingled together?
No.
Oh,
Just
okay,
you
then
asked-
I ask that,
Commissioner, did you not just ask about a report? You said you're not getting a report on the deadlines?
no, I didn't say that, because I'm at every meeting, every Thursday morning. 10:30.
I apologize. I thought that was.
No, sir.
Okay.
Get your update. Go ahead.
Thank you.
That completes it.
Any more questions,
I have a
Commissioner?
question with the city income tax, one was dissolved because it was sort of an oversight committee. So that's why it was dissolved. The city income tax advisory committee was dissolved.
They stopped meeting.
No, it was dissolved.
Because everything was.
Because, yeah.
Can
we
you give
didn't
us
need
that
We didn't
resolution?
need that oversight, which is why it was dissolved. There was sort of like an oversight board that was existing at once.
Everything was set
Can
in
we get that
place.
resolution
So I don't
where
think
that
we
was
want an
dissolved?
oversight board again.
We weren't in attendance anyway.
Thank you.
It was just discussing the plans, those that were seated, like Jeff knows, who is retired now.
Thank you. Point of order. Next, we have financial report. Finance Director Williams.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
just want to go over a couple of household items that was asked previously of me, and it was concerning those porta pots. And that was whether porta pots paid weekly, monthly, or yearly. And come to find out that the porta pots are paid on a monthly basis. They have a 28-day billing cycle. And there was a question regarding the porta pot at the city center park, and it says here that may be paid for by contractors. The city do not pay for that park. The city only pays for Yarborough Park, Hull Park, and Union Park, which is $236.56 per month.
Thank you for that update.
And once again, as mentioned before, the utility funds cash collections are down substantially for the operations. And it says here that the July activity included $26,955 that was approved to purchase laptops for public safety vehicles, and that we have 19,289,592 has been expended through the date of July. And this is the ARPA funds that I'm.
Okay.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah,
Chairman?
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'll go back. And this in regards to the monthly collection of July of 2022 were $181,000, which has been down to about $100,000 prior to COVID, and over 50% of receivables, or $500,000, are over 60 days past due. And this is regarding the utility fund. Okay, let me see where I left off at here. Okay, monthly collection, July 2022, were 181,000,
Right.
which is down approximately 100,000 prior to COVID. And over 50% of receivables, or 500,000, are over 60 days past due, and those are the receivables. 4,480,000 of the ARPA funds have been utilized through the end of July. And the July activity included $26,955 that was approved to purchase laptops for public safety vehicles. And here it says $19,289,592 have been expended to the date through July. And it says the city has approval from the state to draw another $18 million.
I got a question for you, correct?
Yeah.
That's correct. You get us a balance on what we have left. I'm sure it's in there, but what it is, a balance what we have on ARPA funds.
Okay.
Proceed.
Okay. I'll get that to you.
All right.
Chairman Heisen?
Go ahead, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, sir. Was that from the first draw, or this is part of the second draw, that's what's been expended? Because I know the first should seem like it's gone. Just a second.
I believe it's the second, but I had to double check on that.
Thank you.
Okay, where was I? Okay, I believe I left off that the July activity was $26,955 that was approved to purchase the laptops for public safety, and that $19,289,592 has been expended through the date of July. The city has approval from the state to draw another $18 million to complete the lead service line replacements. And it says these funds are from the $45 million additional from the grant from the state.
So,
Commissioner Adams got a question.
yes, sir. And it takes me back to right where I asked that question about our our income tax dollars from city residents and employees that pays into the city income tax as opposed to what the state is bringing down. How do we know or able to differentiate what's being spent from our income tax dollars?
If I may,
Finance
For
director.
some of the things that seems to be the scope of work
Okay, he gonna
that
answer.
they're doing.
Go ahead, Frank.
yeah, so we're working on that because we had discussed that before, and I'm working aimlessly to get you an answer for that.
Thank you,
So yeah, I will definitely follow up with you on that.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Go ahead.
I have a question through the chair for, Mr. James. You stated that we can apply for $18 million. Did you say we can be approved?
Yeah, it said the city has approval from the state to draw another $18 million of the funds that they're receiving for the lead line replacement.
Okay, does it say when, when, or can we do it any time, and is it a deadline to apply for it?
Yeah, well, it's based on like with the engineers, they have to do work that's involved, like we have in March. There's work that has to be done. Then once that work's completed, then
We can apply for it.
yeah, and then we'll yes,
All right, thank you.
you are.
Anything else? Questions?
Oh, for that item, you mean?
Go ahead, Representative Brigade Clark.
When was the last time we received opera fund? What was the last date?
The specific date, I don't have that in front of me, but I can get that answer for you as well. But it was not too long ago.
Yeah. Any questions, anybody for the finance director while we have him in the hot seat?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Adams? Chairman Isom, through the chair, I sent an email one day, and then another day, I sent another email in regards to the same email that I never got a response from in regards to the state revolving funds. And if we had applied for it, what did that application look like? I thought we had, or we're dealing with shovel-ready projects. As far as that was concerned, it would really be nice to know if we were once considered and on the list, why we were taken off.
Can you answer that, finance?
Yeah, well, I had excuse me, I did a little research on that today, and I was looking, and it looks as though because the SRF, it stands for the State Revolving Fund, and what that is a loan.
Right.
So the only assumption I can believe why we were taken off, because I looked at it, and from what I understand, we were on the list, and now we're not on the list. But I saw St. Joe's was on the list and Benton Township was on the list, but Benton Harbor was not. So the only assumption that I can see why we were not on the list is only because it was a loan and not a flush grant. And loans, we got to pay back, and the city was not in position to be paying back any loans right now.
City
So,
manager, you aware of that?
No, when the question came, I sent it to the finance department to give a response. And,
yeah, he sent it to me, and I've been working on it. And so, yeah, so I figured I would address it. Yeah, but the city manager, he did send that to me earlier today.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Chairman Isom. I spoke with you earlier this year, since things were so tight, and knowing that we had the state helping to aid us in fixing our city plumbing, that if there was an opportunity that arose, we have taken out bonds for a whole lot of things. And looking at an opportunity, I mentioned to you, there was a young man that wanted to come and give a presentation after several meetings with the state, Eagle, EPA and some other members across the country in dealing with their communities. There was a young man that wanted to show us and work with us for a lower interest rate and show us exactly how to refinance bonds, which is something that no one has done to date or thought about. I know that if you remember, past city management, I pressed the issue when we were still in a state of emergency and coming out of the state of emergency, if in fact we would write the federal government and ask for forgiveness or to take or renegotiate that contract so that we could, see some daylight. And that's what not only renegotiating, but a lower bond rate would actually do. And when this young man calls me again, I hope that somebody would answer the email and allow him to come and give his presentation, because I'm sure he can do it much better than I. And as long as I got the floor, I guess I'll go on to ask the question as to if we are looking at, oh no, we haven't gotten there
Yeah,
yet.
thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
Is that something we could consider though?
I don't know, the finance director here, so we.
Yes.
we could look into
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then I'll make that connection with the young man. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Any questions? No. 3 months in to the budget, right?
Yes.
3 months.
Yep.
Looking good on all the projects, the ley line projects looking good.
Yes, everything's on schedule.
So we had the cameras now, we paid our portion of for the cameras. How's that?
Yeah, so we are waiting on, I believe, Whirlpool's contribution towards that, but we have made our contribution already.
Alright.
And so we're ready to go with that.
Right.
Have we got bids that came in? For the
Yes.
installation?
I do believe we have had a procurement that had taken place for the installation of that. And once again, I do not have that in front of me, but,
But that's fine, because the fact remains that
oh,
Whirlpool hasn't paid
Yeah, we
for
approved
their
it. We
portion.
approved it already.
yes, it's been, yes.
Thank you, Finance Director Wiggins, did a great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
For a minute.
Oh, it's fine.
Right. Next, we have, the agenda, we have, resolution to approve a monthly travel stipend for the. Oh, resolution for use of permanent public improvement fund for firehouse improvements. They came through, Public Works. No, it's
Public safety.
Public safety, I mean, yeah, Public Works. Public safety, and they had pictures and what they want to do. You know, as I was coming up in here for the commission meeting Monday, there's a lot of firemen out there from different municipalities, I think. And I know we're gonna do a lot for the firehouse, you know, but we want City Hall to look good as a whole. And as I was walking up the steps, I'm looking at the handicap walk. So I was wondering, City Manager, as we doing this improvement, you know, we have 200, the balance, well, the new balance came out today from PBI. Correct. And, look at it, make sure I see it right. So my focus on, what we have in permanent public improvement, we have $332,000. So in this project, is capped at 18,
30,000.
18, oh, it's 30,000.
Yeah, the electrical was 18 and then the
Oh.
painting was another 85.
Okay, so with that, just because of these funds can be used for public improvements, stuff like, I'm just wondering, city manager, can we add the front of the steps into this project?
We've already, Mr. Chair, we've already gotten bids, or not bids, we've gotten engineers asking, sitting them down to finance.
Okay, we're gonna use these funds for that?
We're looking at, stuff.
It's gonna be this year, we're gonna wait till next year.
No, we're trying to get it done before the weather changes.
Yes, I know it's been like that for a while. I know we want it, house to look good, We don't want when people come to the house, we just throwing stuff in the cabinets, you know how we do. So we want to look good outside, and I seen firemen, I talked to man right here, firemen, there's other people here that we represent. We want the city hall to look good, the fire station to look good. I think they all come together.
One of the questions out of the public safety committee, I think one of the commissioners needed somebody to explain the public improvement fund, where did that come through the tax dollars?
If I may?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Can we get an accurate amount of how much is in there? Actually, can we get a
It's in
list? Can we get a listing of those funds for the last past at least 5 years?
Yeah,
And what it's been spent on?
Go ahead.
yes. No, it's fine. The PPI,
Yeah.
the permanent public improvement is, that fund balance as of August the 31st, 2022 sits at $241,575. Oh, you said last year?
Yeah, go ahead, no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. As it's, for current balance, yes, is, $241,575. And, that fund is used for capital improvements. And I was looking at the charter, because it's in the charter, 7.8 of the charter. Yeah, it states what that fund can be used for. And it mentions capital improvements, cemetery board, and a few other things that's in 7.8. And while we're here, I can just let you guys know what it says in particular, because I was looking at this today. And it says, for the library, hospitals, cemeteries, streets, parks, airports, parking lots, fire stations, community houses, libraries, as mentioned, and any other public improvements. Yeah, so
Thank
you're very welcome.
That's, that money don't come in from
Hold it up.
Property taxes.
property taxes.
Yes, yep, to populate that fund.
So you say for public, so if we to open up the Ernie, would that money used for the Ernie as well?
Public improvement.
I would say yes, but I would like to get a definite answer and look at the literature and make sure. But it seems like it falls into that category. And so I would say yes, but I would, double check to make sure, to make for certain.
Oh, go ahead, city manager.
I would like to request that the outside of here takes preference, and because, Mr. Mitchell said that he put it, I wasn't really sure if he put it in order, or it's gonna get done, or it's possible that that's gonna get done.
Yeah, engineers, that's.
Okay, so we're planning on doing it out of the funds? Okay, that's what I wanted to know, because I want that to be, it's like that alone, been like that for years, I believe. And we would like, we want the firehouse done, but we also want this because everybody comes in here and sees. I've never been in the firehouse. I like to be in there, take a tour. But I mean, people see this outside, and I've heard residents complain about it also.
Right.
Okay.
If, as long as it's added, because I wanted to be definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. City manager, yes?
Yeah.
Go ahead, C. Booker.
Hi, yeah, Cassandra Booker. Question, and it's going back, we talked about the porta potty, payment and where the porta potties are located. And you were saying that the contractors may own or may own this one here, the City Park.
Or,
Now,
yeah.
Are we considering putting any, I know that the season's almost over in regards to summer and things of that nature, but are we considering putting a porta potty here for the public or no? That's just one question I have. And secondly, in regards to the engineers list, in regards to what's being done or what will potentially be completed here on the building, like what does that look like? What did you guys determine the emergency, the sense of emergency in regards to? I know that piece of brick coming up the ramp. I know that's on the list, but what else is there?
I know it's definitely, oh, go ahead, sorry.
The firehouse, you mean?
No. The
ramp.
City Hall,
Oh,
the
yeah.
ramp. I know he mentioned that you guys had an engineer come out and there was a list of things that you guys got a proposal on, I'm assuming, in regards to cost. Like, what is that list? What else is on there besides that ramp?
City manager, response.
Right now, the ramp is the only thing that's on there. There are a number of items that we're looking at in City Hall. I think we have to get a new.
Would that have to go through the council for approval, or is that something that you guys, oh, okay, so we'll hear about it later. Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Take a look up. This isn't that old, but it was redone. And, I mean, this started off, and of course, I used to play in the firehouse when I was a little girl. I had the opportunity. I didn't know that our guys actually lived there. I mean, it was like their home, and right now, we can visually see that they spend a lot of time away from home there. Whether they're different shifts or something, I mean, things change over time. But if I spent a lot of my time in a place, I would want it to be clean and stuff not looking like it's falling apart. I mean, just like you upkeep your house. And I say it again, we take into consideration that we can't keep putting a Band-Aid on stuff. If we get somebody to do our roof, it should be a warranty with their services for the cost, coming down the stairway where it looks like, oh, asbestos underneath there or something, I don't know, but we're all exposed to it. An old elevator that 10,000 came through here that we approved, and it seemed to be in the same shape. Now, I just happen to be married to somebody that installed those. And I'd like to know where the money went, where it's at, what was it used for, or was it actually used? Because we approved another 1,500 and something for something. And I mean, I'm watching my tax dollar. When I'm no longer in that seat, I'm gonna continue to watch my tax dollar. I'll be here. Believe that. And not only for myself, but people that have come to me with their cares and concerns prior to me even being an elected official. We have got to do better. In demanding more of those that we give contracts to, of how are they securing their contracts with us. I mean, and we need to keep an accurate list of who they are, because if you gave us a shady job the first time, we don't want your services the second. I found something, throwing away some old papers the last time the roof was done, and I found it today. And it was a substance that I got from a company at a convention that I was at. And it was a new substance that they were using for roofs. And I put it up this time, and I know where it is, and I'm going to bring it forth to whatever committee would take care of that. But it's very interesting. It's actually a small replication of the substance itself, but we can't keep fixing the same thing. Our school is going through the same thing. Keep fixing old boilers and stuff.
Stay on the agenda.
We are there.
That's the firehouse improvements.
Yes, and I would definitely approve that.
Those cover-
Just
Commissioner
had a
Henderson?
question, was the funds, part of a grant you guys have written, or it was just money?
No, so we've remodeled the firehouse over the past 3 years, using in-kind donations. We've had a lot of people donate that we've been able to get. The one thing, or the two big things we have not been able to do are the painting, which is just a nightmare on the ceiling because of all the piping. Not to mention there is probably some lead paint, is what we're being told. And the electrical system is at the point of failure. We just, because of everything new that we've plugged in there, it just can't support what we're doing. So we're asking for the use of, I met with Rhonda, and she had recommended permanent public improvement funds to be used for it.
And just so everybody understands, when something like that comes up, that takes precedence over the aesthetics of the stairway as long as the stairway is functioning.
Let me see, this is.
This is electrical.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that would be considered an emergency.
And what I wanted to say also was about the armory. Everybody's talking about the armory. It's gonna take money to get the armory up. And it's gonna take money to keep the armory up.
Yeah.
It is sustainable.
We don't understand.
And until we get to that position, the best thing we can do is to make sure the armory is secure
We did that.
and safe. Shall I say.
Go ahead.
And just the, we're talking about the armory. Yeah, everybody's talking about the armory because we want it up, and our youth need somewhere, the
Every
meet
safe
at,
space we
something
can
they
create.
could do. Also, we had it running for years. So it was done and it could be done, and some of the opera funds can be used for the army
Yep.
also. So there is a means.
We finna get there.
Director Little?
Just as a reminder, I reported to you just a couple of months ago that we expended $100,000 of HUD funds without proper authorization on the armory. And the time I've been here, I've been working with HUD to try to get out of having the city have to pay those money back. But HUD was very specific and emphatic that they cannot spend any of their money on the armory until such time as we find a means of maintaining, in other words, a tenant or somebody that will have money to pay electricity, water, insurance, security, all of the things necessary to keep it going. We have not an overpayment situation, but just like the armory, the Carl Brown building there, 200 Paw is also another facility that we need to address when we can. But at this point, you don't have the money to operate either one of them in order to do the repairs. But as was being suggested, if we had a means to maintain them and keep them going, ARPA funds might be used to do repairs, but it won't pay the operation.
Should we sell them?
Chair,
So-
just to
So,
make sure
before I
you're not.
ask,
Oh, really?
so we could,
I got some people that.
yeah, plenty organization and nonprofit that want to work out the building, so I think funding wouldn't be no problem.
Say again, please.
We got a lot of nonprofit and organization want to.
We gonna handle it.
And so I think the keeping it up and running and paying the bill wouldn't be no problem.
I beg to differ with you.
I don't.
We got millionaires who
I
want to work in
agree.
the army, so money ain't no problem.
No, it's other plans. This whole
Mr. Chair, so that everybody understands,
This gets so much attention.
Commissioner,
opera funds are for things that can have to be done right now.
Right.
They are not for.
Safe space for our children are something that need to be happening right now.
respect.
I'm sorry, sir.
So they are for projects that you do one time. Money has to be halfway spent by 2014. It has to be all spent by 26. So by 24, it's supposed to be halfway spent, and by 26, it's
Gotcha.
supposed to be all spent.
Yeah, it's not, those ARPA funds are not used for sustainability of a project. It's to make a one-time purchase. Take this.
Yeah, I understand that, and I think we all understand, we're not hard to comprehend how the opera fund is, and we're asking if we fix it up, that's a one-time thing. We won't have to fix it up again, right? Also, I kind of have an issue, is the staff arguing with the committee? Because we need to respect the committee. Mr. Little just, I beg to understand, it's like
Big
sometimes,
difference.
Staff is answering the question.
well, still, we want to keep respect. He's a committee person just like anybody else. So, also, I wanted to say, Mr. Rodney Alexander said at our commission meeting that he's interested in doing some stuff with the Armory. And we know
Him and a
he
whole bunch
has
of
the
people.
funds.
We come together.
So, we do have people interested, and I also got emails and calls from other people interested in,
I remember Rodney.
All right, thank you.
Basketball, yeah.
Let's stay on the agenda. We talking about the firehouse improvement.
Okay.
Firehouse improvement.
What capital improvement?
Firehouse improvement. Anything where you want to say, chief?
No, just to kind of give you an idea of, and we understand it's not super priority, but it is bad, it's never come around. But, I've been doing part-time janitorial duties. I plugged up a vacuum, and blew a circuit.
Oh.
Okay.
Looking at this old fuse box.
So we gonna need a fire.
We move this forward to the commission. For about- All right, next we have on the agenda, resolution to approve a monthly travel stipend for the finance director. Finance director sitting in front of us, he stays in the Detroit area, been commuting, just started in August 1st. We know how gas prices is, we want to keep our employees here, and get them here on time, and, you know how the gas prices have went up and rising gas costs. So we want to, as an incentive, maybe give them stipend for coming back and forth to work for 6 months. I think it came over $600. $600. And I'm sure he's a safe driver, he could drive slow, save on gas. So I hope that can help him out. We need to keep good employees and keep them here. We don't want him to say, well, I can't make it to work today, he's got a half a tank of gas or something like that. So with this being said, we want to offer this to him, and the resolution, I think it's a resolution.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to add to what the chair was discussing, that when we were out, trying to recruit for a finance director, one of the biggest challenges was salaries. A lot of finance directors are in demand, and we discussed with some of the candidates the position that we were in, certainly we believe that they are worth, what they, if they do the job well and stuff, that they work with, they ask for and what's going around the other areas. But we, the position that we're in, you know, coming out of the, financial receivership, trying to get our finances back together, and things are moving. So a lot of candidates kind of was looking more for the money than, you know, commitment. And so what we found with Mr. Williams and discussing with him, told him my situation, and definitely expressed that we do believe he's worth what he was originally asking for, and you know we couldn't do it. And so we came up with some other ways to try to do some incentives and stuff. You know, we also stated, I think everybody who was in the interview heard him say that he's willing to relocate here to the city. But so it ain't no permanent thing and nothing like that. But you know, that says a lot too. You know, want to relocate and become a taxpayer in the city instead of just, you know, coming, you know, and working. So they showed some commitment on his part there and the willingness to take a lower, you know, pay. Because he, you know, did some research on us as well as we did on him, and he do see the potential here that you know, the city's on the move and you know, coming out of working with the state and things, and out of that, you know, starting a new thing on his own. He wanted to be a part of it, and so, you know, him bending, you know, us bending some, you know, we could come up with try to do some things that we can't come up with, you know, all the money that he was really worth, but we can try to come up with some money worth. And one of the issues came up about, you know, did look at, matter of fact, he had me call some people about some homes, and he, you know, had been making efforts to try to find a home here. But in the meantime, you know, especially kind of went down a little bit, you know, gas was one while out there, almost $5. And, yeah, you know, trying to get back and forth. That would be expensive. And then we also thought about, at the time, you know, they used to have, kind of slowed down now. They used to have hiring incentives, you know, bonus, you know, sign-on bonuses and stuff. So we weren't able to do that either. So, and moving expense, you know. So, but we came up with, you know, through discussion that maybe it would be easy on us to go with a set amount period for a gas allowance. So that's what Chairman come up with. And
Have the read the resolution, then we can answer some questions.
Question, I understand, yeah.
So we're gonna read the resolution. It's resolution to approve a monthly travel stipend for Finance Director James Williams. Whereas James Williams has been in the city of Benton Harbor Finance Director since August 1st, 2022. And whereas Mr. Williams is commuting round trip to and from the Detroit area. And whereas a need exists to assist with the cost of gas for his commute. And whereas the monthly expense will be funded by the finance budget. And whereas Mr. Williams will submit all gas receipts on a monthly basis. And whereas the monthly travel stipend will continue for 6 months in the March 31st, 2023. And therefore be it resolved that the Benton Harbor City Commission approves a $600 monthly travel stipend for the Finance Director James Williams for 6 months in the March 31st, 2023. Right. Who's up?
I have my thing, I have a question first. First of all, I think, I understand that, but I think we opened up a can of worms. So you have employees who travel, not just Mr. Williams.
Right.
And so we're being specific to Mr. Williams, but I feel like it should have been negotiated in his contract. Because right now we're getting ready to do something outside of what we haven't done before. we have employees making $14 an hour that we need to address, that who's been working for the city for years, which is ridiculous. So if we're gonna do this, if this gets voted on, it's gonna be an issue, especially with employees who's been working. There's several of them who travel back and forth. And I like Mr. Williams, but it should have been negotiated in this contract. And I think we're gonna have an issue with employees who live outside the city, who travel back and forth. The clerk, for one, lives a couple miles away, 3 or 4 kids. We got other employees who live outside the city who travel back and forth. So I think we're gonna have an issue opening up a can of worms with this particular item. You're gonna have employees who are in the union who are gonna have an issue and who might say, we should get some kind of travel stipend as well. So I think we need to tread lightly on this, talk to the union people to see how that works, but this should have been negotiated in his contract.
Thank you. Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Outside of gas, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Williams for answering the years long call. Some of us have been working hard at trying to create things, to create jobs, to add to the tax base. We've done that. Everybody that wants to be in Benton Harbor is in Benton Harbor. We've had some of our employees that use vehicles that don't live here, take our vehicles home, and they may be our public safety officers. That was an issue once upon a time. But Mr. Williams made it clear that he loved Benton Harbor. He loved the growth that he has seen when he visits our beautiful city. He wants to be a part of that. So until he gets himself established with a place that's satisfying to him, his wife and children, what have you, I think that I personally don't have a problem. I don't think that my constituents would have a problem because they've waited for someone to fill this position so they can get clear answers about finances. Okay? So I think that we should do and go one step further at allowing him, because I knew that we had one, but I just learned that we had 2 vehicles at our disposal that I've never seen them. But I'm sure if I wanted to go to a class or head to Washington or state of Michigan for something, that I could get a vehicle instead of using my own. I think that we should grant him the opportunity to utilize one of those vehicles, because it would be sad if he's traveling up and down the highway, especially with the winter that's approaching with the weather change, and he finally gets his family situated and stuff, that his car with all the mileages, we are on a contract with a corporation for vehicles. So I think that would be a savings, and it's for a short period of time. And we're gaining not only a great employee, a water customer, a taxpayer. I mean, this person is talking about moving here, not just going up and down the highway all the time. So, yeah.
I just want to add to that. I commend Mr. James. I think you're doing an excellent job. Anytime I sent him a question, he got right back to me. And I can say I've been in my seat almost 9 months. And with the exception of Miss Tiffany Moore, he's the only one that really gets right back to me when I have a question.
Okay.
Also, I remember shortly after I took my seat that we gave employees, some got 2,500, some got 5,000, and a lot of them live right here. So that was an incentive. And then I think I recall a bonus also given, and I know for different holidays and other things, we probably give incentive. And as you stated earlier, Mr. James tried to negotiate some things, but we could not afford it.
Then.
Okay, so I think, and as far as the union, I am a union chair. So when you negotiate what you're asking for. So I don't think no union employee is gonna come back, because you had a time when you negotiated the contract. So what they was already negotiating what they wanted. And as far as opening a can of worms, don't we do that all the time? It's a lot of things that's been done that shouldn't have been done. I think Monday opened up a can of worms. We naming a parks after somebody in 1800. That's not homegrown. So we'll deal with that when that happens, but he deserves compensation.
I say we add a vehicle.
Go ahead, Representative Clark.
Yeah, I think, I think Mr. James will deserve to get a sentence for his travel. And out of the all employees, he might be the only one that traveled 3 hours away. There and that.
Thank you. Right, we move this forward.
And he's
Wait,
planning
Mr.
on moving.
Wait, go ahead, Mr. Singh.
Just saying, I was adding it up and it was, we're talking about, 3 months, $1,800, 6 months, talking about $3,600.
Okay.
We got
Yeah, that's,
10 grand we wasn't
yeah,
expecting,
that's,
so.
there's, you know, definitely less than I guess he wasn't around to get the $5,000. But for $3,600 to be getting the wing ourselves off of $300-some thousand, you know, contract, you know, work. I think it's really a small investment, you know. I know so they disagree, but I think we got to invest some of this to get to where you're trying to get to. You know.
So that includes company vehicle.
Go ahead, Representative Clark.
And, Mr. Jack Williams, we got the money to do that, right? To accommodate you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that will come out of the
Finance budget.
finance budget.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. All
Thank
right,
you.
next we're gonna move forward.
Chairman Ison, are we adding a vehicle?
No, we're gonna go.
That was the request to approach MCs.
No, we
So
gonna
I'm
say-
just hoping that we don't open up a long drawn out conversation when the resolution comes forward.
We're not doing the vehicle, we're doing this.
Okay, all right.
All right, next we have, discussion to 2022 city manager review. City manager review, we came up, we had an evaluation. Hope that every commissioner turned their evaluation in. They did not.
I listened to.
Missing two.
Okay,
Missing two, so we had an evaluation. We'll be discussing that at the close. It's up to the manager at the first meeting of the month of October.
okay.
So I don't know if you
I was
guys-
looking for another type of evaluation.
I didn't,
We need to fix that for the future.
So you did evaluate during that time?
well, it's up to the city manager. We do it in public or closed session. So on October 30th.
So most likely it'll be closed.
I can't say this. Yeah, since the city manager, he's.
First meeting of October.
October.
Okay,
So it'll be the
I'll give
30th.
it in.
The next week have the discussion, the 2022-23 op funds allocations, budget and amendments request. So I don't know if anybody turned your request in. One thing I do see on here, city manager, it says, the city hall chambers upgrade, that's probably with the sound system and all that.
Why they couldn't come out of public?
So we did get the chipper, we did get the sweeper. There's one things we did get to. Some, this is my fault.
Oh,
Glad it's not.
okay.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but, so. Mr. Henry not here, I know she had something, but. The buoys, we couldn't get. I don't think we.
Yeah, all right, yeah, we need to find a couple.
Oh, he left, okay.
I think Clark was still working.
Working on that.
Yeah.
I wanna know why training for our residents ain't at the top of the list.
We already got the cloud base. Get the.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did get that. And then plus that, finance director gonna give us a final book, where we at, but the balance on where we at.
For the ARPA funds.
Yes.
Yes,
We'll be sending that out tomorrow.
yes. Small, so
You
yes.
know, we had, how much we have to work with. You know, because last year with opera funds, you know, we had delinquent customers, water customers, and I think finance director said we almost had 3,000, almost 29 or something like
Yeah, just want to make a correction on that.
that. Okay.
And that data I don't have in front of me, but, it was a little bit over, I had stated that it was a little bit over 1,500 that were 30 days past and a little bit over 1,400 that was 60 days past. I stand corrected because those who are 30 days past was included into the 60 days past also.
Okay.
So it's a rolling number, so it's not as high as the 2,900 as originally stated. So, but I will get the exact number for you guys, and I will let the rest of the commission know as well.
Thank you.
Good. Any questions?
Yes.
I know, I'm trying, I gotta talk to you first.
I noticed that we did the street sweeper stuff. Any updates on the street sweeper the chipper?
The chipper is scheduled to be delivered 10:30 on Monday, October 3rd. The sweeper, I don't have a firm date yet.
We don't use that sweeper in the wintertime because it snows.
That's why we're hoping to get it. Well, it's supposed to be here within the next week, so that I don't have a firm date specific. But we're trying to get them both in time to put them to use before winter comes, so that we don't have stuff washing into the catch basins and that kind of stuff.
I think I remember you saying too that somebody was coming down to do some training. Was that on the hot patch? I know they did that, and then they chip on the
On all of them.
all of them.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the gentleman, I talked to him this afternoon, when he comes on the morning of the 3rd, he's going to spend the rest of the day going out with the crews and showing them how to use it properly and what they need to do and that type of thing. I've also asked him to do the same thing about maintenance on
Yes.
this, to make sure people know what has to be done to maintain it properly.
Okay, so,
So we got 90% or a little over 90% with our lead line. How many contractors still out there? Is ViStar still doing it? Is B and Z still involved? I mean, or
Yes, yes, and yes.
all the contracts still?
Yeah, I've seen them, yes. 5-star and beans, yes.
all right.
Yep.
Any questions? Ms. Brooks?
The street sweeper, do we currently have a street sweeper? We still currently own one? No? Oh, or we contracting out?
They previously would lease one for certain periods of time, and then as soon as the month lease is up, they can go back to the others.
I saw one today.
Oh, today? Well,
Yeah. Okay, so that one's being leased today? I saw
don't think we have one being leased right now.
Main Street?
I saw it.
That could have been a contract. I seen the contract was
Cleaning up.
clean up.
Oh.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you're right. I did see that.
Okay, and with the, leasing the chippers, that's for the wood and the trees and things like that.
It's not
Now,
leased
if-
for time.
Now with the street sweeper, and I don't know who, I guess it will be sanitation who actually orders what needs to be done, but will they also be cleaning the drains in addition to cleaning the actual streets? Because the street sweeper does not clean out the drains, am I correct? Or is that something that has to be done manually?
There's something that has to be done separately from the street sweeper.
Okay.
And, probably a combination of manually and using a vacuum. But,
Yes.
That's, the public works director would have to
Mhm.
lay all that out.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Adams?
Thank you. And there's nothing on your list up there, But I think that I've made it known and asked and asked and asked, just like the finance director that's finally sitting here. Training, funding to get Manchester Bidwell in here to connect the services that are disconnected, that are not working, no matter how Connexus, the college, or anybody tries to put something together. We need these people in here to connect these services and to get something sustainable in our armory. And I think it's wonderful that Mr. Little, Economic Director Little, has purchased a property by the armory. I don't think you guys know the magnitude of the people that this man knows, that he actually do fundraisers for us with all of his rich friends across the earth. But he expects for us to fundraise as well. I'm talking about Mr. Bill Strickland of Manchester Arts and Training Technology Center. We have somebody down here at Connexus that won't even answer the boss from the state, because we want to know something is wrong with the data of a lot of the Michigan Works in Michigan, where people of color are not getting the training that they're paying for. How long do we allow that to continue? I've spoken to Mr. Pachoka, and he's interested in sitting at the table. This is a partnership of the college, Michigan Works, the city, other surrounding businesses. But what they do is come in and find that missing link and put it all together. And I think that we need to stop playing politics and put forth some funding to get them in here with some of this opera money that's not ours to begin with, or is somebody not really wanting our people to be trained. It's got to be one or the other. I want my people to be trained. I even want some more training, but I don't want to have to go way out to the college to get it. I want to be in walking distance in my community or a short drive. Since we doing all of this economic development of connecting dots, pathways, and livable things close to us, I mean, make it make sense.
Thank you, Mr.
I just want to know what the holdup is, and I would like to see a resolution come before this body to put forth the funding that we once approved of. Once we found it, now we don't have to find it. It was kind of like it fell out of the sky. I mean, with the exception of lost life due to COVID.
So,
Who's gonna stand in the way?
Commissioner Adams, you still gonna have that?
Yes,
So,
yes.
because-
They're
When is
waiting
that?
for us though.
When is it?
I'm going to set my meeting for probably the next 2 weeks. Expect an invitation. But for them to come, they want the commitment of the letter that I gave to Mayor Mohammed, and you being personnel and finance to give authority to push that check. You already know that.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams. We get finance director to look at it. And take it from there, and see what happens. Thank you. Go ahead.
Just for information from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services on becoming a certified lead professional. They offering free training for, I had to have any experience. Some brochures going around, and training is free. I think it's 3 days or 3 weeks, whatever it was, but it's free. And once you're trained and get certified in it, you're able to go anywhere really. to, do inspections and, stuff like that. Yeah. And if you're doing something else, if you're a carpenter, if you, whatever you do, this is something real quick that you can add to your tool belt to, something ain't working for you, you can do something else. So,
Is it offering certifications?
offer certification. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
This that came as a result of, our, dealing here with the water and stuff. So
Right.
some of the main issues was getting, local people involved and, maybe just a little bit, managers pushing people with contracts, people coming in, get jobs, we didn't want to see the money come, millions of dollars come in and nobody, have an opportunity to make some, so those things are happening, and this is one of them.
What department was that?
Results of the, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Will,
Yes.
do you know if Southwest Community Action, if they still paying people water bill, or are they still, you know anything about that?
I do not, but that's something I would like to look into to see if they are doing that, because I do understand that there is a need for the residents here and their water payments. So Southwest Solutions, were they paying them in the past? They paid them before, or is that something that they had did before? Or if not, it doesn't matter. I can still take a look at it and see if they are doing it.
There was, some other nonprofit organizations that were getting money to assist people with utilities and things. Some of it came through the COVID money, and then I think later on some other money came. So those agencies, they would help paying rent and help paying utilities and stuff like that. So, it is some other organizations that got a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar. One Step Forward is an organization that pays delinquent taxes, upwards to like $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. Oh.
The problem we found though was that the people who needed the help was having a tough time negotiating through the the red tape.
Yes.
With those organizations and
The paperwork and whatnot. Yeah. Yep. Because it is a lengthy process.
Yeah, I just want to add too about and the water health. Center for Better Health is one of the boards I'm on, and we do it at the 100 of Main Street. The Center for Better Health. It's a Sierra program. You come there and you get assistance with even utilities, your utilities and payments, house payments, rent, all that stuff. So we can refer you. But I wanted to say on what Commissioner Singleton had about the lead thing. I got an email maybe a month or so ago because I was interested. But from what I've read and what I've seen, it wasn't just for a regular resident. It was for people with trade, mechanic. It was people with already, that where it was offered to. The one that I'm sure it's the same. It's from the same place.
well,
Yeah.
for this little mirror saying you didn't need any
Actually,
experience.
I've seen the same thing.
Yeah, I checked it too.
Maybe I went off to another stream or something.
actually, the young man that worked for the state of Michigan that can't get an answer down there is helping and working with DHHS as well as the health department with that. I'll be meeting with him one day soon, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Or I may invite you to sit and talk and ask questions yourself. But if I may, I want to, that what Commissioner Clark Griffin just mentioned, I mean, even I fall on hard times too. I went to Better Health when this whole thing first started. It was several months that went by, but falling on hardship, and they led me over here to Southwestern Michigan, downstairs at the shelter. They sent me upstairs. Do I look like okay? But anyway, to no avail. to no avail. And it works for some, and it seems like it's not working for all, but you better believe, and I'm asking you to get involved, because there's power in numbers, just like the filling seats, the same type of power. If we don't stand and stick together, these folks that ran off with all them billions of dollars, we want it to help with the endurances that communities of color is experiencing, and other communities that may be or may not be, but to help us through this rough time of paying our bills. I mean, we trying to get a meeting with the White House, not the elected officials, some other folks. And we're demanding to be heard, and it's about to happen. Yeah, I'm still a voice outside of this voice.
Thank you so much. I want to thank
If I
everybody.
might help you a little bit with your question.
Go ahead, Director Little.
The Southwest Michigan Community Action Agency is still paying some water utility, assistance with rent and so forth, but on a much more scaled down rate than what they were before. The emergency shelter, which is the official horror for this agency, is still processing those payments. SARA, SARA are the initials, is the source of the funding that comes in for that. SARA 1 is shutting down. They've got less than $100,000 left in SARA 1. They've got $4 million in SARA 2 that is available to be used. That's as of last week.
More's coming. It's coming.
All right, I want to thank everybody for participating tonight. Meeting adjourned. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Can I get some gas money? No, I'm just.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Calm down.